you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Michael Karam, and today I have the incredible honor of speaking with a true legend in the world of bodybuilding. He is an eight-time Mr. Olympia, a pioneer in the sport, a coach, and a man who has inspired generations with his philosophy of training and nutrition. The one and only Mr. Lee Haney. So, thank you, and I'm happy to host you on my podcast. I like to start with some of the questions, but before this, I like to, if you like to talk a brief or talk on yourself or anything you would like to say.
Okay, well, thank you, Michael. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your podcast.
My pleasure.
I appreciate you being a part of the International Association of Fitness Science. One of my first personal certified trainer there in Israel.
Right.
So thank you so much, and I appreciate it and look forward to this opportunity. And hello to all of my fans there in Israel. Love each and every one of you. Got you in my prayers always.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And I appreciate the opportunity you gave me to be one of the IFS. And I have learned a lot. And I still, till this day, I'm learning from the book. Okay, I can, yeah.
Yes.
So I also had the DVDs. If you remember, you sent me your DVDs, and also the functional training, and everything is great. So
Yeah.
I like to start with the first question, okay? And I like to know your opinion about how should the training method differ, okay, from beginner to intermediate to advanced. And I like to know about the, let's say, the muscle building training method.
Okay. Now, you know my philosophy has always been trained to stimulate, not annihilate.
Right.
So it is very easy to stimulate a muscle to grow. You don't have to beat a muscle up in order for it to respond. You just have to be smart and use good basic science.
Okay.
So for people who are just getting started, I always advise using the basic movements. For arms, you're talking bicep curls. For chest, you're talking bench press. For shoulders, you're talking about overhead presses. For legs, you're talking about squats. For back, dumbbell rows or barbell rows. So everything real basic when it comes to beginners. And once they learn proper form and technique, then you can start to add maybe a second exercise. But starting with one basic movement is all that's needed. That's what I did when I first got started,
Yeah.
as 11-year-old. And then
Mhm.
once I went to intermediate, I started to incorporate at least two exercises, per body part.
Okay.
And then when I got a little bit more advanced, then I would use maybe three, sometimes four exercises per body part. But
Great.
always, in a way that I can control the weight, the mind and the muscle linked together, and not using too much weight.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question, which is related to this one, when you said for the beginners, let's say one exercise, okay, does the frequency of the muscle groups per week also change when you are beginner and intermediate or advanced? And also the number of the sets per exercises.
Yes, when you're a beginner, the frequency of training should be at least once every, since you're only using one exercise,
Yeah.
you can train once pretty much every other day
Okay.
because we're only doing one exercise.
Yeah.
Repetitions, probably around 8 to 10.
Great.
Okay. So that's the frequency that I would use for someone just getting started. Now, someone as they become an intermediate, they need to train at least maybe once every third day.
Yeah.
That's almost using like the straight six that we talk about in the certification program. Okay.
Okay.
Then once they get advanced, then they can train each body part maybe once every fourth day. That's sort of
Yeah.
like the three on off one,
Great. Yeah.
because now you're using more exercises, more weight, and so the need to recover is greater.
Yeah, okay, understand. And for the amount of sets per exercise, also for beginners, intermediate, and advanced.
Well, for someone just getting started, I would say no more than maybe 3 to 4 sets per body part. 4 sets is good. For a beginner. Now,
Yeah,
intermediate, I would say about 8 sets. If you're going to do chest, it's going to be 4 on the bench, 4 on the incline.
yeah, you are talking total sets per session, right?
Yeah, total set. Right,
Yeah,
total set. Maybe
okay,
4 sets of each exercise.
great.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then advanced, you're talking maybe it could be as many as 12 sets on chest, 12 sets on back, 16 sets on legs, a little
okay,
bit more because when a guy becomes more advanced, he knows what he's doing,
okay.
so he can add a little bit more, but he still have to be careful that he don't overtrain. That's
Yeah,
always the danger. Most people overtrain and they start to duplicate too many movements. It's
uh-huh.
okay, I'm going to do bench press for chest side. Then I'm going to do dumbbell flat presses for chest side. Then I'm going to do a hammer presses for chest. It's too many movements.
Yeah, yeah,
So
of
do
course.
one movement and move on to the next one. Don't
Yeah.
duplicate movements.
And when you say 16 sets per legs for someone who is advanced, you are talking about the quads and the hamstrings, 16, or only for the quads?
I'm saying the quads, you got leg extensions,
Yeah,
4 sets. You got leg presses, 4 sets. You got squats, 4 sets. Then you have 3 to 4 sets of leg curls. And then with the hamstrings, maybe 3 to 4 sets of stiff leg deadlifts. So could be around 16 to 20 sets for the legs.
yeah, okay,
And, when you're more advanced, if you have the time, you want to do maybe quads in the morning and hams in the evening.
okay,
That way you can have a workout that long and allow the body enough time to recover.
great. And to do the 2 sessions with the same efficiency.
Yes, yes,
Okay, okay,
yes.
great.
Because when you rest, it gives the body enough time to recover. You get some more food in the body. And if you have enough time to take a nap, for instance, I would train in the morning like at 8 o'clock and then train again in the evening, maybe around 5 or 6 o'clock. So I've had enough time to have some food, get some more glycogen in the muscle. And if I can get a 35, 40-minute nap, I try to do that also.
Yeah,
Because that's when the body produces more natural growth hormone when you get a chance to nap and rest.
yeah, understood. So my next question will be related to the whole levels, okay, the beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And I want to ask you about the sets because I saw in your training and in your interviews, you always focused on the pyramid sets, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And does this also occurring on the beginner level and also intermediate and advanced?
Yes, yes. You should always pyramid. Always start with a lighter weight and work your way up, or
Yeah.
medium weight and then increase per set.
Okay.
Now, if your last set would only allow you to do 4 reps, then the weight is too heavy.
Mhm.
If your last set, you really have to struggle to 6 reps, then you're okay.
Great. Why
But
I'm asking
you
this?
should not max out to no 1 or 2 reps. That's more powerlifting. That's not bodybuilding.
Yeah, why I am asking this? Because, as you know, there is a lot of debate in the recent years about high volume training versus low volume training. And when they compare, they always say that, let's say, someone like Dorian Yates, who trained with low volume, like they say, low volume. But when he was doing this, he was doing the same thing because he warm up with lightweight, then he will increase a little bit the weight, and then only on the last set he will do one set of very heavy. So it's the same as they say for the high volume because the high volume guys also train with pyramid. So they warm up with lighter, then they do medium weight, then they do the heavyweight.
Yeah, yeah. Just so your heavyweight is with control,
Yeah,
and just so you have the mind and the muscle connected, it's safe. But you also have to consider Dorian Yates was injured. You
yeah.
know, he had several muscle tears.
Mhm.
Then he just had a hip replacement. I learned from people like Robbie Robertson,
Yeah,
Frank Zane, Roy Callender, the older school of bodybuilders. It was always about the mind and the muscle linked together, not
yes,
using extremely heavy weights.
yeah,
And as a result, I mean, I have no joint pains, no surgeries. None of that has happened to me because of using the old school type of training, which
great.
is very smart. I never seen the guys in that era have knee replacement or hip replacement or back injuries.
Yes. So my next question will be about the rest time between sets. And does this differ if the goal is different? So what I mean, let's say in the book of the IFS, you recommended 30 to 45 seconds between sets, right?
Right.
Okay. So if someone, his goal is for building strength or his goal is for fat loss, does this differ, the rest between sets?
Well, the rest between sets, let's say, for instance, what I call rest between sets, okay? I like doing maybe a superset from time to time. I'll do a set of bicep curls, then I do a set of chest presses or bench
Okay.
press or dumbbell press.
Okay.
And then in between that set, I do the superset. In between the set, I may do a set of seated leg raises,
Okay. So active rest.
abs.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't never have downtime. So that 30 seconds is filled with some type of activity. I'm
Okay.
either doing some abs or I'm doing some stretching in between sets.
Mhm.
So there's never no lazy time going to the water fountain, going to pee or hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
None of that. It's always focus on training. Every minute in the gym should be a time to focus the mind.
Great. Understood. And if the goal is strength, like
If the
to,
goal is strength, if you're really getting into strength or powerlifting, that sort of deal, then of course the rest time is more because if you're lifting real heavy weight, you have to have rest time.
yeah,
But when you look at guys, when you look at power lifters, which I've been around a lot of power lifters, they only do a certain amount of reps. Normally, they reps may be two, three, or maybe four reps. They're
yeah,
not doing 10 to 12 reps like we do in the
right,
bodybuilding world. So
right,
the rest time is longer, and nor do we use the kind of weight that they use. It's two different entities.
right. So my next question will be, I don't know if you know about this program that called Max OT or Maximum Overload Training, which was used by the famous bodybuilders Skip Lacour, Jeff Willett, if you know the names. So, okay, so the question about this, like in their training, they recommend that doing once per week each muscle group. So let's say chest, we will train it once per week only. We will choose, let's say, 2 to 3 exercises. The total amount of sets will be 6 to 9 sets, and the rep range in each set will be from 4 to 6 reps. So it's high intensity, long rest time between the sets, about 3 minutes, and only doing this amount of sets once per week. They
I,
say,
I don't I don't like that philosophy.
yeah,
And a lot of what I see in bodybuilding today, so as the athletes on the stage, their physiques are not complete.
okay,
They don't have cross striations. They don't have good muscle separation because of using systems that give them too much time in between. In
okay,
order to develop good muscle maturity and muscle separation, you have to have frequency. If you notice during Robbie and Arnold's era, they were ripped to pieces. They wasn't as big. They were not as big, but they was always ripped
yeah,
because they used a straight six.
okay,
My era, we used a 3 on off one. which allowed us to be bigger and
And
still
keep
have good muscle separation and still maintain good balance,
yeah,
small weights, good symmetry. Now they're using the type of training program like overloading, where they train each body part once a week. Well, that's really for powerlifters, not for bodybuilders,
yeah, yeah,
because you got a lot use a lot of weight and a lot of volume, but it doesn't create opportunity for more muscle maturity and muscle separation. So that's what
okay,
you see on the stage. Rarely do you see a guy that has that type of separation. Phil Heath had it, but Phil trained with a guy, Hadi Chopin. Hadi is old school. Then you have Jay Cutler.
yeah.
They trained with Hadi Chopin. I mean, Hadi Rambach. I'm sorry,
Hani Rambo, yeah,
Hadi Rambach.
yeah,
And so Hadi was old school bodybuilding. That's why his athletes, they always won. They
yeah,
always look great because he believed in frequency, whereby, the old other school of bodybuilders, they were bigger, but they didn't have good muscle maturity. You see that on stage now. Rarely do you see a guy come up and look great. Chris Bumstead, Chris looked great because of muscle maturity and being on the right type of training program.
yeah, yeah. Understood. So I want to take you to the other side of the repetition. Okay. So as I understood from you that you like more the pyramid sets with the 12, 10, 8, maybe 6 repetition, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, does the higher rep range have any job in the bodybuilding? Like, let's say 20 repetitions, 30 repetitions.
No, no. Because this is what happens. In the real bodybuilding world, real bodybuilding, let's say the science.
Yeah.
High reps is similar to that of being a marathon runner.
Okay.
Notice marathon runners are small and sleek. Sprinters are nice and muscular.
Mhm.
So when a guy trains for sprinting, it's only maybe 50-yard dash, 20-yard dash, never long distance.
Mhm.
Long distance breaks down fast twitch muscle fiber. It turns the fiber into slow twitch, rubbery type of look. Same with the bodybuilding. If you want to have a nice muscular tone look, you have to limit your number of sets and reps. Now, when you see guys say, well, I do 30 reps and da, but guess what? They're on enhancements. A guy who eats
Okay.
regular
This
food,
this this will be my next question. Okay,
yeah.
continue. Yeah.
So a person who's on natural enhancements, they have to stay within the framework of what makes sense. You know, when you're talking about stimulating fast twitch fiber, well, let's say when I trained Evander Holyfield, the 4-time world boxing champ,
Okay.
I only had him go to 5 to 7 repetitions on his chest, shoulders, back, only 7 repetitions.
Okay.
Only used maybe 2 exercises. And his weight came from 192 pounds to 215 pounds in 4 months. Still
Naturally.
explosive,
Nat-
still with high endurance because I use anaerobic threshold training. So you want the muscle to also be anaerobic. You only do that through explosive training, not long high reps.
yeah.
The body
Okay.
works to the opposite when you does that scientifically. But if
Yes.
you have enhancers, then the body recovers a lot quicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a normal type of recovery when you use enhancers. So they don't talk about that when they put these kind of programs out there on social media.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the honest answer. So my next question was how does all the principles and the variables we talked about right now will differ between someone who is natural and someone who is enhanced? And I will start by the muscle frequency per week. Does it change?
Well, see, when you're doing regular supplementation and good healthy nutrition, the body still recovers. It still recovers, and the amount of time of recovery depends upon the age of the person, really.
Okay.
Because from a teenager all the way to maybe 33, 35, your growth hormone levels is good and healthy. So is your natural testosterone level. You're healthy. When you start to get past about 35, that your growth hormone level starts to take a decrease. So does your natural testosterone levels.
Yeah.
So you are at advantage being young. You can grow anything when you're young. I won the Teenage America. I weighed 212 pounds. You
Yeah.
know, all natural. I won the Mr. South, all natural. Mr. USA. I placed fourth in Mr. USA, the second largest guy in the whole show. So your genetic blueprint that makes a difference, but also your natural hormone level and growth
Yeah.
hormone level makes a difference.
Yeah.
So the body can recover. Now, as you get older, let's say you start to get around 40, 40-ish, it takes longer to recover. So you may resort to a training program whereby you're training each body part once every fifth day.
Okay.
Then
Understood.
it becomes that, but you're not going to look like a 22-year-old kid or a 33-year-old young guy, and you're 10 years old. It's not going to happen from a natural standpoint.
Yeah.
But you
Understood.
have enhancers that can help you go beyond that which is natural.
Mhm. Great. And so all the variables we talked about before are, let's say, for natural training, right? It work for the naturals. All the number of
Yes.
sets, all the number of days for beginner, intermediate, advanced, we are talking naturally.
Yeah, we're talking natural. So
Yeah,
regular supplementation does work for the natural bodybuilder. You got to
yeah,
eat more. You got to make sure you get your proper rest. You have to be a good scientist.
yeah,
You can't make as many mistakes. You can do some wrong stuff or things that don't make sense when you're using natural hormones or you're
mhm,
using hormones, synthetic hormones, not natural,
okay.
synthetic hormones. You can do crazy stuff
And
and
still
recover.
work. Yeah,
Steroids, you can recover.
yeah,
But when you eating regular, eating good quality food, natural, you have to use the science. You got to
great,
be very scientific. And then you can progress and be great to the
great.
best of your ability.
Mhm. Understood. So my next question will be also about training, but this time for females, okay, who want to lose body fat without building muscle mass, especially in the upper body. What type of training would you recommend? Rep range, number of sets, rest time, and cardio, especially to slim the legs and not build any muscle.
Well, muscle is not, most females are afraid that if they lift weights, they're going to be a muscle.
Right.
In order to burn fat, you have to have muscle.
Okay.
In order for a female to keep her shape, she has to have muscle. Fat
Right.
doesn't have shape to it. It's just block, you
Mhm.
know. So she got to have that. So and a female don't need to fear weight training. They don't need to try to lift heavy either. It should be a weight that they're able to control.
Okay.
And and I train a lot of ladies. I have a lot of female clients. So tend to use more of a functional training with ladies
Okay.
because it helps the body burn fat more frequency. It also has a certain amount of cardio involved in it, which is important for ladies because they hold on to body fat more so than guys. The
Right.
female body is always saying, let's hold on to some fat because we're gonna have some children again.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter how old she is. Her body still say, let's hold some fat in my thighs and my hips and my buttocks to help nourish nutrition for the baby.
Right.
So her body never forgets that. So her program has to be designed in such a way there's a certain amount of cardio and resistance training,
Okay.
like dumbbells. My ladies, generally, they stay around 5 pound dumbbells. Some may do a 8 pound dumbbell, but that's as far as they go. They don't use a 20 pound dumbbell. They don't do that. That's not necessary. And their hormone makeup will not allow them to produce big muscles anyway,
Okay.
unless they use enhancers.
Yeah.
That's when they're able to lift heavier, but then other things that are not so good take place in their bodies. So that's one of the things women have to be careful of, and trainers got to be mindful of too. They need a workout program. When I train my ladies, for instance, I train their whole body,
Yeah.
each section,
Like
that
so like we talked about for the beginner workout at first.
yes, exactly. I may only have one exercise, but two sets for ladies. That's what I do. I make sure we do like stiff leg deadlifts for their glutes.
Yeah.
I do kettlebell squats for their thighs and their glutes. All ladies are concerned with their glutes. They're concerned with the back of their arms, you
Yeah.
know, and they don't want a lot of fat in their back. And we
And
focus on upper chest training for the cleavage because
yeah.
ladies never have to present here. They
Yeah.
always present here. So those are the kind of programs I design for females, and I've gotten
And
great results from them too.
great. And from the repetition side, like the pyramid sets, or how much repetition you are doing for them.
I don't do a bunch of pyramiding for ladies unless she trains for competition.
Okay.
You see, you got two different worlds. You got
Okay.
one training for competition, the other one is a housewife, a school teacher, or a professional
Yeah.
lady.
So let's stay on the general side. Yeah. Not the competition.
I only do for legs, we'll do leg extensions. We'll do for the quads. We'll do kettlebell squats for the quads. We'll do leg curls for the
Yeah.
hamstrings. Then we do stiff leg deadlifts for the glutes
Yeah.
and the ham tie-in. So that muscle group will have maybe, like, say, 4 exercises. But for the back, only one. Bent over dumbbell rows. For
Okay.
the
And
shoulders,
and
we
it's
may do
about two sets of how much repetition?
normally no more than 2 sets. Each of the movements only 2 sets. If they just getting started for the first time, only have them do 1 set.
Yeah. And
It's more
how
cheat
much
sheet.
reps? How much repetition you will do? Reps.
Oh yeah. For ladies, I generally go around 12 to 15 reps
Okay.
because we always use the concept that heat burns meat. Heat
Oh, okay.
burns meat. So with the ladies, you wanna heat their bodies up, create thermogenesis
Yeah.
because that helps the body burn fat more frequency. That's why
Okay.
their rep range got to be higher. So I
Okay.
generally stay around 15. Sometimes I go to 20 reps with ladies, but not on like leg extension. We still just do 15 on leg extension. I never
Yeah.
go 20. But if legs are very small, then I would pyramid down and maybe go 10 to 12 reps because you're trying to put on a little bit more muscle size. But most ladies I deal with, they carry a lot. They carry a good bit of body fat, so their whole goal is I want to trim down.
Yeah. Understood. And the rest time, of course, you will keep it 30 to 45 seconds.
Well, it's that 30 45 seconds may be a water break. you
Okay.
know, a sip of water. But for the most part, we'll knock out 15 curls, 15 presses, 15 dumbbell rows. Then we'll do a standing leg raise for her abs, or seated leg raises for the abs. Then we'll go to incline chest press. Or sometimes most of the exercises, they're always standing. 99% of the exercise I do for ladies is standing. I
Yeah.
don't want them sitting on machines because
Okay.
I need movement with them.
Yeah.
Again,
Understood. So
yep.
you are doing like I would call it a circuit training, like.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
You learn very well. I like that,
Yeah.
Michael. You the man.
Thank you. I'm always learning, of course. So we will talk now about nutrition, okay? So I think it will be fast
Yes.
for you. So
Nutrition is 70 to 75% of a person
yeah,
reaching their goal, whether it's
yeah,
bodybuilding or just the general population. What you eat, how much you eat, and when you eat it is
yeah.
very, very important.
So this is my first question will be, what macronutrient ratio do you recommend? Like, carbs, how much in the percentage, protein, how much in the percentage, and fats.
Okay, so Michael, I try not to overwhelm a person. What
Okay.
I have them to do, they write down everything that they eat. Like on my website at leehaney.com, I have a questionnaire. So they fill out my questionnaire telling me what they eat. And I take a look at it
Mhm.
and I have them to send me a picture, front, rear, side of what they look like. And once they send me the picture, the meal plan, I look at it and then I make changes to the diet.
Okay.
I don't try to overwhelm them with, okay, you need 100 grams of protein. So if they holding too much body fat, I can look and say, oh, wow, you're taking in 300 grams of carbs. We want to eliminate at least 100 grams of those carbs without leaving you drained without energy. So
Okay.
I don't try to redo everything. I just look at where they are and I make changes from there. I found out what they need and what they don't need in the diet. So we start to just chip away little bit by little bit. That way we're not shocking their system.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for
So,
most ladies is going to be maybe around 1,000 calories. You know, most guys, your average guy is going to be maybe around 1,800 calories, something like that. When generally when they write it down, it's always somewhere close by because we're creatures of habit. Whatever you had yesterday, you had the day before and the day before that.
yeah,
So once they write it down, you'll see it and then you make changes from there.
understood. So, if someone like me right now, my goal is to get my body fat level down, okay? But I don't want to lose my muscles, okay? Like my hard-earned muscles through the 15 years naturally. I
Yeah.
trained a lot. I was 55 kilos when I started at 169 centimeters, so it's about 5'7", I think, 5'7" inches, okay?
Yes.
And my weight right now is 180 something, so it's about 84 kilos. So I increased my weight a lot with the years, and my
Mhm.
body fat level right now is about 19%. So I
Okay.
need to get from 19, let's say, to 12%. Okay.
Okay.
So what macros do you recommend for me, or what calories do you recommend, or what is the minimal protein you think I should get? I like to know how you will strike this.
Okay. So two ways we can get your body fat down. One is eliminate some calories, bring the
Mhm.
carbohydrates down. Let's say if you're on 300 grams of carbohydrates now, take it down to 250.
Okay,
And let's see where we are there. Do the scale, use your mirror, take pictures. Okay.
great.
Or you say, I love to eat and I don't want to starve myself. So you can say, well, what we'll do then is let's add some cardio activity,
Okay,
maybe speed walking or treadmill, at least a half hour,
great.
at least
This
three to
was
four.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I wrote those questions also about cardio. I wanted to ask you. I like to know the frequency in the week of the cardio, the type of cardio do you recommend, and the time of cardio you recommend doing per day.
Okay. I would say, for instance, as you looked at it takes 3,500 calories to
Mhm.
eliminate 1 pound of fat.
Right.
So if you say, well, look, the treadmill, I'm going to drop about 300 calories, 350 calories on the treadmill or speed walking for a half hour. Okay.
Okay.
So that's 300 eliminated. Let me also take away 200 calories in food that I don't really have to have, particularly carbohydrates or fat.
Okay.
So you still get to that 500. You
Right.
see,
Right.
on the course of 6 days a week, at least 6 days a week. That's going to help you drop at least 1 pound of body fat.
Mhm.
So it's
Okay.
all math, all mathematics.
Yeah.
You can either aerobic it off, or you can lower your calories and get it off,
Or
or you
combined.
can do a combination.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lower calories and add a little bit of cardio so you still comfortable, you're still eating, you're still saving your muscle.
Understood. Okay. So my next question will be just a second for the intensity of the cardio you are doing. You are recommending like low to moderate or the high intensity interval
Low
training?
to moderate, low to moderate.
Okay.
I trained for the Mr. Olympia. I would speed walk, never no more than maybe 3.5 on a treadmill, 3.3 speed walking. I would never go jogging
Okay.
because I didn't want to turn my body into that of a marathon runner.
Okay. Same
If
philosophy.
I wanted to add running, which sometimes I did, I would do drills, skip hop drills for about 20 yards. Skip hop, karaoke, uh, or maybe 50% sprint. Poof. Everything had to be explosive to stimulate fast twitch fiber. You see,
Yeah.
growth.
Understood. Understood. And the
So
same.
that's just enough for anaerobic without it being aerobic. Anaerobic stimulates fast twitch fiber. Aerobic breaks down fast twitch fiber.
Great. Great. So everything, if we thought about it, everything is going through the fast twitch, the explosive, right?
Yeah, for muscle size, to build
Yeah.
muscle, you got to do that. And that should be it even for females, you know.
Yeah.
Although you go a little higher rep for them because they only going to give us so much muscle anyway. Their hormone system is totally different than ours.
Yeah. So
So
also if we do heavy training like we do, the guys, they also will not build a lot of muscle.
they will not get that. They will not, unless it's a super female.
Yeah.
Some female got, you remember Bear Francis, right? Bear
Yeah.
Francis was a super female. Sometimes you find Amazon females, it's just like that. But 90% of the females are not like that.
Yeah. And my last question about cardio is how much time do you recommend maximum cardio? Like,
Half hour.
okay. And there is reason for that? I like to
Yeah,
know.
once you do too much cardio, see, cardio can make the body look fatigued. I found athletes when they said, well, I've been on the cardio for an hour, I do an hour every day, their body look fatigued.
Oh, yeah, of
And
course.
I've also known people, an associate, she was doing ellipticals 45 minutes every day. She wore both her hips out. She had to have double hip replacement.